as stories unfold. Flip the cards, turn around. The stories we found in the shadows we dance. Take a chance, take a chance.
Good morning and welcome to the MyTarot Morning Reflection, our daily inventory and chance to check in with the universe. How is everybody? I hope everybody's having that amazing morning. So, my morning's going okay. So, maybe it's because I do the tarot, but here's the thing, is that I'm downstairs making coffee. And I always have this internal dialogue that's going on. And so with this internal dialogue, oh, what's that? Apparently there's an issue with the chat. Anyway, so I get this internal dialogue, like we all do. But good morning, Angelina. So, making coffee this morning, internal dialogue, and I just was wondering, I started contemplating, maybe because I do the tarot so much, is that, would I rather be known as kind or wise? Would I rather be known as wise or kind? And I started thinking about that. And poor Mina. Good morning, Luz. Yes, I'm so excited. I'm going to start putting that out there today. I'm going to be at Brand Art Yoga on Saturday. But so, would I rather be seen as wise or would I rather be seen as kind? I go in there this morning, hand Mina her coffee, and I'm like, honey, would you rather be seen as wise or would you rather be seen as kind? And she's like, do you know what time it is? But I kind of was just thinking, when you have grandkids and when you think about it, and good morning, Jenny, and when you think about it, would I rather be seen as wise? So she's like, I'd rather be seen as wise. Now, give me my coffee. And I mean, that's how we all want to be seen. And yet, would we rather be the parent or the grandparent that says, stay home, you need to do your homework right now, and not have that chocolate? See, that's the wise thing. So we want to be wise. But we know that instead it's like, all right, if you promise to do it later, I'll take you to the zoo now and we'll get a big old bowl of ice cream. You know, would I rather be seen as wise or as kind? We want to be seen as kind. And what wisdom is that little voice that's in the back of our head that says, you know, that's not right. But it's, you know, we're just programmed. A lot of us are just programmed to be a particular way. And so, would I rather be kind or wise? You know, and it's the same thing. We do that with ourselves. It's like, I should go out there and do the lawn or do the lawn. I have all these things and there's weeding and it's actually cool right now in the morning. You know, would I rather be wise or would I rather be kind? You know, well, I'd rather be wise. Doesn't mean that's what I do. And see, that's what it's like to live inside my head, and that's what poor Mina has to live with. Good morning, Maureen. So I don't know why that came up this morning in my head, but would I rather be wise or would I rather be kind? And it's like, wisdom is that voice. What I do is just my heart. So welcome again to the MyTarot Morning Reflection, Daily Inventory, and chance to frickin' just breathe. So, I've got my feet personally flat on the floor. I don't know where yours are, but I'm kind of rolling my ankles right now. And my butt is doing the kitty dance. And wow, my shoulders are up there, aren't they? So I don't know where your shoulders are, but I'm finally getting mine down. And I'm taking that breath that goes with that. When I relax the shoulders, it's like there's so much more lung space. And And then it's just natural to want to roll the neck and say, oh, there it is. Let's shift that whole mindset. So, you can be asked, you can be wise when you are kind. See, I know, but if this was a Greek philosophy class, they would say you can only choose one. Choose wisely. Yes, to be wise a lot of time is to be kind, but if there's a choice between doing what we should and being liked, more often than not, and liked by ourselves, it's like, hey, I'm gonna allow myself not to do my laundry for and just wear smelly clothes. I don't know, I'm weird. These are the things that go through my head as we take that breath and we switch that light switch, as I always put it, that says we do it enough time. My light switch is that listening to the sounds of the cards like to the sounds of the ocean. And then that naturally, after so many years, just kind of says, all right, time to go someplace else. So this is our chance where the universe can hold up a mirror and ask us, what do we see? And we can use the tarot as that mirror. So what I'm going to do next, I hope I'm seen as kind and wise, but I always choose kind, I think, sometimes. Because I know it's not wise to do half the stuff I do. So I'm going to make our 3 stacks. Each one a different thread going out to the universe. Each one a different thought or idea. And if we believe in the multiverse, it's like each one of these is a different path, because this stack will lead down one path. This conversation will lead down a totally different path from this one. The question is, which path do we want to choose? You know what? And I'm going to go with the center, because personally, I think that's what's right at the center. That's like what's at the heart. You know, being wise or kind. I know that being wise, you can be kind. But sometimes it's a choice. So I'm going to do our 3 and 1. Like I say, was it wise this morning to ask Mina at 6:30, would you rather be wise or kind? Oh, and here's your coffee. Poor girl. Be kind of wise. All right, I'm going to flip over our first card and see where we're going today, which is a wise card. Because here we have the Roi d'Épée, the King of Swords. Look at that sword right there. So, we have a king. Kings are the element of air. Kings are when we need to adult. Kings are when we need to make sure things get done. Kings are us that says, I want to be seen as kind. But there are things, it's more wise if we do this. If we pay the electric bill, if we go ahead and cut our grass instead of paying somebody else. Not that I'm, doing real life stuff here. That way we save the money for our trip going to France. And swords are the element of air, because swords, 1500s, who could afford them? It would be the court people, the royals, knights, and so the people who would do strategizing. So this is exactly kind of what I'm saying, is that, this is a card here that says there's things we would like to do, but this is, what we should do. Now, you may not notice, but the bottom of the sword here, if you look real close, that sword is kind of bent to the left. Unlike justice, it's a very slight bent. Justice's sword, you can put a ruler against it, and it's up and down. But when something is slightly bent, That means that, yes, I'm seeing clearly, but I am not bound by just facts alone. And that's a good king. And the good king is looking here at the magician. And look at how these two look at each other. It's almost like a father-son thing, isn't it? So, a king who's being wise, but also understands his subjects, is one that has taken life's lessons, who understands things. So if we look at the magician here, he's got a cup, he's got a wand, he's got coins, he's got a sword, little dagger. There's his sword. He's got all the elements there. He's got everything that he needs. And he's combined those. He's put in his 10,000 hours, or he has taken what he has and he's learned how to manipulate it. He's learned how to, we use the word manifest sometimes, but manifest is to make something out of nothing. And when we make a decision that we are going to cook a dinner, this dinner's never been there, and I'm going to take my implements and I'm going to make it. Or if Jenny's going to write a song, God, she's so good. That song was nowhere. It was just her experience. It was her wisdom. It was her knowledge and her kindness, and she was able to put that out into music. So it's important so that we recognize it's not just about our intellect. It's also understanding that we need to be flexible with that as we move into the magician. And I'm kind of curious to see where we go with this with the next card. Which is the 10 of Cups. So, when we look at the king, and we his ever slightly kind of bent sword, there's things that we need to do. And we need to look to the wisdom. We need to look at the king. And we need to recognize, am I being kind or am I being wise? Am I being kind to myself or am I being wise? There's things that we need to do. There's things that we need to manifest. There's things we would rather do. But the king is looking at the magician. And the king is understanding, saying, hey, I understand that you would rather play guitar all day long, Jamie. We have these skills and talents. It's like, but what do we need to do right now? And so maybe sometimes we realize that we need to decide what needs to be manifested in a wise way. We need to say, what is it that I'm not doing that the king's trying to tell me that I need to do? Kings are about adulting and applying our skills that we have, listening to that little voice in the back of our head that says, I want to be kind, but this is what's right. And then it's kind of like a delayed gratification, doing what we need to do so that we can reach the 10 of Cups. And look at this. Cups are our spirituality, our emotions, and our feelings. The 10 of Cups, when we do our numerology, is from 1 to 10. And as I said yesterday, if this is a race starting at 1, 10 is not the finish line. 9 is the finish line. 10 is what we do when we've accomplished what we need to accomplish. When we discuss this with the king and get the things done, then we put in the extra time and effort, what we have, and we may not even realize it, but we've also done the kindest thing in the world for ourselves, or for our grandchildren, or our kids, or for the people around us. Because look at this, our cup is so full by doing the next right thing that we can now fill all these other cups up. Whereas if we didn't do this first, we wouldn't have 10 cups. We would be giving away, we'd have 3 cups and I'd be giving 2 of them away. And I would only end up with 1, but I'd be, instead of doing what needs to be done, instead of applying my skills, my time, and my effort into what is wise, I'm being kind to myself. I'm going to have this bowl of ice cream instead of this bowl of broccoli. I'm being kind to myself, right? But in the long run, am I moving towards my 10 of cups? Or am I moving towards a heart attack? So we need that kind of, you got to be, you got to be kind to be cruel, or what is that saying? But I know you can kill somebody with kindness. But the basic gist here is just the use of our skills in a wise way, even if we delay the gratification, because we're going to get twice as much later on. So let's see what the advice card is. Delay the gratification. So we'll have twice as much later. And twice as much later is the 10 of cups. 5s are always a challenge. When we are trying to get to 10, 5s, it's like, 5 is halfway there. We have 4. 4s are about stability and all this wonderful stuff. And somebody throws a wrench in, or we don't do what we know we should do. And so when we do that, sometimes we look back and it's like, oh, I should have done this, or I knew I should have done that, or I knew I should have listened to the King of Swords. But instead, it's like, you know what, I'd rather do this. So today, do we want half measures? Or do we want to do the next right thing, which is wise, probably more wise than kind, and have twice as much? The king looks so encouraging. It's like, if this is a child who's got all the entire world at their hands, doing school, doing work, doing what we need to do, just does not sound as fun. But this really does look like a very kind inner self. So if we can be kind to ourselves by being wise, instead of just 5, we can get twice as much. I'm going to stop there because, man, I'm too philosophical today. But thank you all very, very, very much. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing day. Be kind to yourself and wise. And I am going to be back here tomorrow. Thanks again. Enjoy your Thursday.
Stars in the sky, cards in my hand, searching for signs, lost in the sand. Whispers of fate, echoes of dreams in the dark slate. Nothing's as it seems. Flip the card.